Hi, I'm Laura Kenyon, RTS's Director of Communications and Customer Experience. And today I'm going to cover some proposed changes we have for our RTS On Demand service. RTS On Demand launched in 2021 as part of Reimagine RTS, the first transit system redesign in our region in more than 40 years. RTS On Demand introduced our community to a new type of transportation called microtransit, a service model that has been deployed across the country. In our area, it was intended as a means to continue providing public transit access to areas with historically low ridership. As with all of our services, we continually monitor RTS On Demand's performance. After 4 years of operating the service, we've learned that while it is a very popular service that works well for some of our customers, it's not as reliable as we'd like it to be and doesn't work well for many of our customers. Additionally, we were able to launch the RTS On Demand service when we did because of grant funding that provided $1.7 million per year. That funding has ended. Given the financial position we're in and the knowledge we've gained from 4 years of operating the service, our proposed changes are intended to make RTS On Demand work better for our customers while also reducing RTS's operational costs. We're looking at 4 areas of improvement: adding a no-show and cancellation policy, adjusting the pre-book window, updating how we pick up and drop off customers, and changing our fare structure. We'll start with our no-show and cancellation policy. RTS On Demand experiences more than 30,000 no-show trips per year. To improve efficiency and increase availability, we're proposing this no-show and late cancellation policy. A few definitions to get out of the way. A no-show is a trip appointment a customer does not show up for, and a late cancellation is when a customer provides less than 3 hours notice to cancel or reschedule a trip appointment. So we are adding or proposing to add an additional trip reminder. Customers who pre-book an RTS On Demand trip will be reminded of their appointment 3 times: 3 hours ahead, 30 minutes ahead, and 5 minutes ahead of the trip departure. Customers can select whether to be contacted by text, email, or phone call, and repeated no-shows or late cancellations can result in a suspension of services. After 5 no-show or late cancellation infractions in a 30-day period, a customer's account would be suspended for 7 days. After 10 infractions in a 60-day period, an account would be suspended for 14 days. We would notify the customer ahead of any suspensions, and we will notify the customer when their account has been reactivated. Combined with our update to the pre-booking window, which we'll discuss next, we estimate reducing no-shows by 82% overall and increasing ridership up to 10% per hour by making this change. As mentioned, RTS On Demand experiences more than 30,000 no-show trips a year, and shortening the pre-booking window is expected to help reduce those no-shows. Customers can request a trip up to 12 hours in advance of their desired departure, and this is a return to the pre-booking timeframe that RTS On Demand launched with in 2021. And again, as I mentioned, combined with our no-show and cancellation policy, we estimate reducing no-shows by 82% overall and increasing ridership up to 10% per hour with these changes. We're proposing 2 updates to the way we pick up and drop off RTS On Demand trips. The first one are virtual stops, which are sometimes called corner-to-corner service, and the second one is multimodal trip planning. For virtual stops, when requesting a trip, the proposal is that the RTS On Demand software will route customers to nearby centralized pickup and drop-off points, virtual stops. This means our curb-to-curb service is being replaced by virtual stops, which you can think of as corner-to-corner service. Like our bus stops, the most a customer will travel from their point of origin to a virtual stop is programmed to be no more than a quarter of a mile. Looking at multimodal trip planning, when you look at all the trips taken in RTS or in RTS On Demand zones, 16% of those could be completed by using RTS Connect instead. RTS Connect are our big buses. The chart here shows these percentages by zone. Because of this, we're recommending that multimodal trip planning be added. When scheduling a trip, RTS On Demand software will prioritize and schedule trips that can be completed by RTS Connect to use that service instead of On Demand, whether someone is booking through the app, online, or by calling customer service. Standard fare for RTS Connect remains $1 per trip, and it's eligible for fare capping through RTS Go. So by adding virtual stops and multimodal trips, again, we're anticipating the annual number of no-shows and late cancellations to go down, and we expect an increase in RTS On Demand's availability by 11%. The final recommendation we're proposing is a fare update to RTS On Demand. Let's look at why we're recommending this. In Monroe County, RTS On Demand accounts for 3% of our total ridership, but it uses 13% of our total Monroe County resources. In addition to that, the operational cost of RTS On Demand is high. RTS On Demand trips are more than 5 times the cost of RTS Connect trips to operate. So to help address these costs, we're proposing a fare update to RTS On Demand. Here's what that would look like. On September 1st, 2025, RTS On Demand would increase to $3 per trip. In September 2026, it would increase to $4 per trip, and in 2027, it would cost $5 per trip. Seniors, children, and persons with disabilities would continue to pay half the regular fare, and our RTS Access customers, their personal care attendants, and veterans with a Veterans Outreach Center pass would continue to ride on RTS On Demand without charge. We're also proposing to end fare capping for RTS On Demand trips. So fare capping is when our customers use RTS Go as a payment option, and they are capped at a daily and monthly maximum fare. So with this proposal, fares would be collected for every RTS On Demand trip. RTS On Demand trips would no longer reach a daily or monthly maximum fare charge. Fare capping will stay in place for RTS Connect trips when using RTS Go, and the maximum amount for that will continue to be $3 a day and $56 monthly. RTS will honor the $3 daily cap for customers who go from RTS On Demand to RTS Connect. However, if a customer uses RTS Connect followed by RTS On Demand, the customer will need to pay the standard RTS Connect and RTS On Demand fares. Our payment options are not changing, they are staying the same. So customers can pay for RTS On Demand trips and RTS Connect trips with bus passes, RTS Go smart cards, and RTS Go mobile, and exact change. In summary, we launched RTS On Demand in 2021 as a way to continue providing public transit access to areas with historically low ridership. After 4 years of operating the service, we found that it's not as reliable as we'd like it to be, and it doesn't work well for many of our customers. While it serves a small part of our total ridership, it uses an outsized portion of our resources. Our proposed changes are intended to make RTS On Demand work better for our customers, reduce our operational costs, and continue to provide public transit in areas of historically low ridership. We're looking for feedback on these proposed changes. If you'd like to submit a public comment, there are 2 ways to do that. You can submit a written comment, and those comments must be received by 5 p.m. on June 20th, 2025. You can submit your comment through our contact form at myrts.com/contact-us, or you can send a letter to RTS On Demand, Attention Legal Counsel, 1372 East Main Street, Rochester, New York, 14609. You can also speak at our public hearing. We are holding a public hearing on Wednesday, June 18th at 5:30 p.m. in the RGRTA boardroom, which is located at 1372 East Main Street in Rochester. If you'd like to speak at the public hearing, please arrive up to 15 minutes in advance of its start so you can sign up to speak. And again, that public hearing is set to start at 5:30 p.m. After a public comment period, all the comments and questions we received from registered speakers at the public hearing, online at myrts.com, or in the mail prior to the deadline will be responded to by RGRTA and posted online at our website, myrts.com, before August 2025. All comments, questions, and responses received will be shared with the RGRTA Board of Commissioners in August 2025, and pending RGRTA board approval, changes would go into effect on September 1st, 2025. That includes the overview of our proposed changes for RTS On Demand. You can learn more on our website, myrts.com. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching and thank you for your attention.